Welcome back to Coming Out. I'm Gabriel Páez, your host. I always say that this is a special day when we have Shev Jones in the house, 24th Congressional District Florida candidate for the Democratic Party. Shev, you're in the house. Mi casa, su casa. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Gabriel. I appreciate it.
I want to begin with an interesting fact of what you've seen on the campaign trail. What stood out so far?
Oh my goodness! First of all, I forgot how hot it is outside while you out campaigning. But what has stuck out so much is one, how big the district is and how diverse the district is. That has what has stood out so far. Of course, I've represented both this district before. Of course, in my Senate district and in the House, but I just forgot how big and how diverse this district is. I mean, you have different Caribbean populations. You have Jamaican, you have Haitians, you have Bahamians, and you have your Jewish community in Hollywood. It's just a melting pot of so many different people.
And you've been there before, so you're like you're at home.
Yeah.
And it's tell us what good word have you been spreading?
Well, I mean, we have been spreading the good word of how government can work for people and not against people. And I think it's been working. I think what we're seeing a lot as we are on the ground, I mean, people think it's just a talking point, but the cost of living is a real thing. Like, people are genuinely trying to every single day to make it, right? And we have been spreading a message that we desire to be one, not to just go up there and advocate and only fight, but we want to be the one to come back with a collaborative approach of what it looked like to work together to be able to bring costs down, so people can feel some type of relief, because I think people are hurting right now. People don't really care about the politics.
No, they don't. And most recently I did a farm share with the Marlins and a candidate, and what I saw I worked the line, getting them prepared to go in because it was a drive-through. Right. I had people living in their cars. Oh, yeah. I had, people on their, one paycheck away. Yeah. One had an order of, having to move out.
Yeah, I mean, I saw
a lot.
Yeah, well, I came in contact with a teacher, who she's not being paid this summer, and because she's not being paid this summer, she's facing eviction.
There you go.
Because she's not getting
I couldn't think of the word eviction.
She has an eviction notice, and school doesn't start back for another 2 or 3 weeks, and so she won't get another paycheck for another month.
Right. So people are hurting. I mean, to see two people living in a car, for me was like, all right, I went home and I was like, man, I'm thankful for everything. Yeah. I get to shower my shower. Yeah. It's like, it brought things into perspective. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, it does. And for individuals who have never ran for office and haven't knocked on doors before, that's where you get some real stories from. Knocking on doors and talking to real people, not from polls, not from Facebook likes, not from Instagram or TikTok. But talking to people, it will change your perspective of your why.
For sure.
When you come in contact with the cancer patient who has lost their job and has to go to chemo and doesn't know how they're going to get there because the transportation bus didn't pick them up, or someone's mom who got left after dialysis because the transportation bus didn't pick her back up to take her home. I mean, these are absolute stories that we get as we're out knocking on doors, and I actually have more fun knocking on doors than going to events.
And you can't make them up because they're so unique, and it's, to that family, to that neighborhood, to that culture. So, yes, knocking on doors does make a big difference.
And people like it. People love when the candidate comes to the door. They're like, oh, I just saw your flyer. I just saw you on TV, your commercial. I'm so happy you came and knocked on my door. Or, oh, my God, you represented us before. It's different conversations that happen.
And it's interesting. You've been there before.
Yeah.
So this is probably your third visit to some of
some of these houses I've knocked on. I actually remember one of the people houses that we it was Kai and I were walking, and the lady was she was preparing to go to a trip to Jamaica, and as soon as we walked up to prepare to walk to her house, she said, "I don't even need the flyer. I already know who I'm voting for. I voted for you once, and I no need to change. I'm voting for you again." And mind you, that was in Broward, and I haven't represented Broward for the past 3 years. But those people like, hey, listen, we remember.
They remember. Yeah. They remember. Okay, you get elected. What is your first 100 days like looking?
Well, first, I would love to build a coalition with the delegation in Florida. I think we all share the frustrations of what Floridians are dealing with, and I think whether Democrat or Republican, one of the things that I would love to take from Tallahassee with me is this collaborative approach of how there are some policies that are just regional. Like, what are those regional policies that the Florida delegation can agree on that we can deliver for our state? I think that's something that is important for the first 100 days. Policy-wise, I would love to quickly jump onto Congressman Cuellar's bill out of Texas. He has the American Consumer Tariff Rebate Act, which puts money back into Americans' pockets from these unconstitutional tariffs that the Supreme Court deemed as unconstitutional, and it puts money back into Americans' pockets, especially those who are make under households under $400,000, and it gets $125 per child. The president said that he was going to mail checks out to people with these unconstitutional tariffs, but that never happened. There is actual policy that goes along with it. I will sign on to that in the first 100 days. Another thing, I think we just released it this morning, and that's the cost of childcare. Like, parents are paying a second rent when it comes to childcare, and we want to put forth a policy that puts forth a sliding scale when it comes to childcare that's based on the individual's rent. I mean, it's based on individual's income, parents' income. I think that parents, they want their children to be in educational settings to where that not only that they're learning, but they're thriving. But a lot of times parents can't focus in on that because they're trying to make sure they provide for that child. And so they take what they can or they do what they can for their child to be taken care of. Those are some of the top 3 things that I would start looking at in my first 100 days. Awesome.
You just recently got the endorsement from the Herald.
From the Miami Herald, I know.
What does that feel like? I'm sure you've got it before.
I've got it in the house.
Okay.
Getting the Miami Herald endorsement, I'll be honest with you, that the Miami Herald endorsement is a validator because the Miami Herald is a trusted news source, not just here in Miami-Dade County, but people look at the Miami Herald across this country to see what's happening in Florida and what's happening in the state. And so when I got it, I was honored to get it, but I also realized the work that we've done over the past 14 years. And I said this on at forums, and I'll continue to say it, that every one of my opponents in this race, they have contributed to this community in one way or another, and I will not, and I can't take that away from them. But I am the only person in this race who has the legislative experience, who have the appropriation experience, who have the collaborative experience in working in one of the most difficult legislative bodies in the country, and still getting results done and bringing results back home. So the Miami Herald endorsement was pretty significant for me.
You get that, but what is that? And you get validated. How do you build off that?
You build off that by you showing people the experience. They can read it for themselves. I mean, it speaks about the experience that we've had in the legislature, and I build off of it by sharing with people that you don't have to go to look for a source of who validates the work that we've done. The Miami Herald made it clear. And listen, and does endorsements work? For some people it does. For some people it don't.
Right, and it doesn't necessarily bring votes.
They're going to bring votes. I mean, because
it's always good to.
It's a good to have, right? It gives the opportunity for people to see. I mean, I
just never gotten an endorsement, so that would be for me. It would be awesome. It would be a big deal.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I was excited about it because, again, the Miami Herald. It's a big deal of a newspaper,
and it's hometown. So it's telling you, we appreciate what you do, and they see what your track record has been. So that's most definitely something that comes along. Obviously, there's the elephant in the room, which is immigration.
Yeah.
This week we've dealt with a lot of issues in the community with TPS for the Haitians, TPS for the Venezuelans, Hondurans, Syrians. Talk to us about immigration.
First of all, this administration's idea of immigration policy is wrapped in ICE taking people off the street and treating them in inhumane ways. This administration's idea of immigration policy is internment camps like Alligator Alcatraz and other immigration detention centers that they're trying to build across the country. That's their idea of policy. My idea of what good policy looked like is pathway to citizenship for these individuals. If they've been living in this country for 5 to 6 years and shown themselves to be tax-paying people, which they are, and majority of them are, and they've been here for many
business
years.
Owners as well.
Their family, men and women. If they've shown themselves to be good citizens and they're contributing to this economy, there has to be a pathway to citizenship for these people. That's policy, right? No one wants open borders, Gabriel. No. Democrats or Republicans. But the Republicans will make it seem as if we want open borders, and that's absolutely not the case. We want humane policies put in place to ensure that the people who have come here, whether through asylum, whether for TPS, whether work voucher, whether education voucher, whatever the case might be, that they feel safe when they come to America. Every last one of us who are here in this country, our ancestors, they came here on a promise, right? I mean, whether forced or unforced, right?
Amen to that one.
Let's be clear. But at the end of the day, the America promise was that you can come into this melting pot and you can make something of yourself. And I think that's where when you look at where these individuals, whether our Haitian, Honduran, or our Syrian brothers and sisters who have contributed to this country, whether or not the federal government believe they should be here or not, if they've been here and contributing to the society, we should treat them as such, and we should make sure we're giving them a path that they can stay here.
Is there anything that you would sign on to? Is there anything in Congress right now that brewing for immigration that you like?
Well, I mean,
or would you?
One for Haitians for TPS. I mean, there has already been a bill that has passed the House, a bipartisan bill. As a matter of fact, some individuals within the Florida delegation, they signed on to the bill already. I think it's 48-14 that's sitting in the Senate right now, waiting for the Senate to move on it. I called on Senator Ashley Moody and Senator Rick Scott to sign on, not just sign on to this, to get this across the finish line in the Senate. I mean, we have the largest Haitian diaspora in my district in the country. And that's the start of good policy that we can start moving if the Senate would move on.
And then what really drives me crazy is like they'll extend it for 4 days, or last one was extended from Friday to Monday, and it's like
you're playing with people's lives. You're playing with people's lives. You're playing with people's emotions,
psyche, and everything.
Everything. I mean, it's a domino effect. I mean, if we don't see TPS and what the Supreme Court did as a total economic failure, then I think we're looking extremely small. I mean, you have our Haitians brothers and sisters who are nurses, who are techs, who are childcare workers,
CNAs. The majority of our CNAs
the list goes on and on. This is going to be a total economic breakdown that happens in this state, and then we're going to see how silly our policies are when we start seeing how it messes with our money.
It's interesting how people don't really get involved until it impacts them.
Of course. I mean, no one cares until it impacts them.
But it's going to impact Miami-Dade County.
It's going to impact Miami-Dade County. I mean, the Haitian community, the Venezuelan community, the Syrian community, the Honduras. These people are the fabric of this melting pot we call Miami. It just wasn't built by the individuals who are making these policies. It was built by these individuals who now we're turning our back on, telling them to go back to unsafe countries.
Listen, we all know Haiti is not safe.
It's not safe. It's a level 4. The federal government itself said that we shouldn't go there.
Right.
And you send individuals who've been here for over 20 years. They have nothing to go back to.
Right.
Yeah, you sending them back where?
And then with Venezuela, it's okay, safe to go, but they've left the same type of government.
Same type of government.
And then now with this double earthquake.
Double earthquake, yes.
You know, it's not the right time for either or Haitians or Venezuelans. And, you know, they're like you say, they're the fabric of our community. So it's hard to see them, you know, to go into that aspect of really not being played with, because that's what they're being played with. So now we're waiting to see what happens. I mean, there's so much uncertainty on so many angles.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and the sad part about it is this administration doesn't move with compassion. So they don't care. They don't care that families are being torn apart. They don't care that you're taking someone's mom away from them or someone's father away from them, and now that child doesn't know where to go. That child has never lived a day in Haiti, but now you're telling the mom to go back, where the mom, I'm sure, is having to decide whether I leave my child here in the States where he or she knows, or do I send them off to, I take them with me to Haiti to where I don't know the certainty of our safety or what that looks like. That's the problem.
Difficult. That's going to be, for me, that's pretty hard. And it must, you know, I remember when I was going through my immigration, you know, trying to get my green card and all that in Venezuela. So how impactful that was for me as a child. Yeah. And I've lived with that my whole life, because I've known, you know, what it is to go to an embassy and request, you know, and be told that you're not going anywhere, you're staying in Venezuela for the next at least 2 years, and you got to wait until one of your siblings turns 18 to claim you. But that was back then, thank God, because now we have to wait a longer time. But another elephant in the room is healthcare. Yeah. I mean, what would you do up there with healthcare? So we had a great opportunity in January to extend the ACA subsidies. Okay. In January, but it didn't happen because it got over into the Senate and it got mixed in with politics, and so it didn't go through. The fact that we are in the hotbed of need when it comes to healthcare here in South Florida, whether we're talking about the amount of individuals living with HIV who are here within South Florida, whether it's the amount of seniors that's here in South Florida, the amount of children who are in need here in South Florida. It's a huge blow, right? I mean, and it all is encompassed when it comes to the affordability, the crisis that we're talking about. The fact that healthcare is a discussion on whether or not individuals should be covered and taken care of is baffling to me, because the domino effect of us not treating people the right way is making sure that they are healthy. It is also an economic issue, because if I'm not healthy, I can't go to work and provide for my family. If I am not healthy, my child can't go to school. It is an absolute domino effect. And the fact that we are playing Russian roulette with people's lives, all because we're trying to decide who has the better plan, whether it's Trump or Obamacare. I promise you, what we just broke didn't need fixing. Obamacare worked and made sure people were covered and taken care of. That's why I believe that we should have Medicare for all, to where everyone have access to health care. Because there is enough money. for
if we can pay money for wars,
right,
we can pay for healthcare.
Right, and not, great segment because you bring it into the war. Where do you see us going with this military thing that we're needing the need to create wars, unnecessary wars?
We have to find a pathway to peace. Now, I will tell you that the President of the United States have fumbled how we should be handling wars in this nation. I mean, in this around the world. The president believes he is the king and can make decisions on his own outside of Congress. War powers were placed in the hands of Congress for a reason. And the President of the United States should and needs to fall in line. This is not a dictatorship, because these wars are costing us trillions of dollars. What? You had Pete Hegseth just came back. He just came to ask Congress for what, $71 billion more?
Imagine, $71
billion. Wow. $71 billion to continue a war that no one has talked about. When is it going to end? You have American soldiers' lives who are every day they're putting their lives on the line. I mean, of course, and someone said, well, they signed up for it. Oh, that's insensitive to say. Of course they did. But they didn't sign up for a never-ending war that we're experiencing right now. There has to be a pathway to peace. There has to be a pathway to peace.
You know, another thing is peace is difficult when you have when you're trying to implement your system of government across the globe, you know,
that's authoritarianism,
right? And that's what our policy seems to be nowadays.
And tyranny.
and you know what? Sitting here, I'm actually realizing how with you we have progressed so much with you, because we first started discussing state policies and local policies.
You remember that, right?
Yes, yeah. and now here you are talking to me about federal issues, and it shows, you know, the public servant that you are.
Oh wow, thanks, Gabe.
Because you've stepped up the ladder, and now you're at the federal level. So I appreciate your service, number one, but number two, it really brings me joy to see how we've progressed now, and see that we're talking about things that really impact us, not just here but globally. You know,
I mean, we have to,
because you know, like I read this morning that our stockpile for weapons, like we really need that much, is dwindling. Yeah. So where does that put us?
Listen, I mean, for us to be crippled when it comes to us having what we need if and when America needs to be called to war, and our stockpile is dwindling. That's a problem, right? You would think.
I thought that the same thing this morning. I'm like, man, that sounds like.
You would think the Secretary of Defense would be looking at that stockpile.
Is that why he would need $71 million?
Well, I would $71 billion. I would hope that's the reason why, but I'm not sure. I didn't watch the complete hearing, but I do believe that we're fumbling how we're handling war. And listen, you and I have sat at this table before. Again, we've talked about state issues, and now we're talking about federal issues. But outside of war, a lot of these issues are the same.
You're right.
Yeah, they're the same.
They still impact us. They still, we still. I heard one time Jose Pepe Diaz say, "We all put our pants the same way."
Same way. You know, same way.
Just don't jump in them.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely. The policies that we dealt with here in Florida are similar to the policies that are happening in Washington D.C. I tell people all the time that Florida is the petri dish for Washington. So it's what they testing at. Whether it's don't say gay, or whether it's abortion, the abortion type legislation that we did in Tallahassee. I think they test them here.
Well, with our governor, yes, we've definitely been the testing ground, because it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but the other thing that I see is that we are in a rut when it comes to not only at the state level. So I'm glad that you got trained at the state level to do bipartisanship, because it doesn't seem like there is any bipartisanship in Washington.
No, I mean,
so I'm glad you've gotten that. That Florida experience that you can now take it over to.
I'm gonna try. Listen, I'm gonna go speeds ahead. Excuse me. To work to build those coalitions, because again, they work, right. Building the coalitions to get good policy passed. It requires building people who you can build that power circle with, right? The power circle says that you bring in individuals with the most influence, and then you build out from there. And then you bring in the coalitions who may be attached to the influencer, and then those groups then talk to the people, and then from the people it speaks to the influencer. So I believe in building that leadership circle to where in order to get good policy across, you have to know who are the right people to be talking to. And I'm not afraid to talk to people. I'm not afraid to sit down and to negotiate to get good policy for. Operating in one of the in a super majority and getting 41 bills as a Democrat to be the law of the land, that's no easy task.
Right.
But it does take an individual who knows what it means to not just negotiate, to see what's in it for all of us. What do you want out of it? What do I want out of it? And can we meet in the middle to get good policy? And that's how we've been able to make that work. The policies that I've passed over the years, I haven't gotten everything I wanted, but I've gotten the concept, right? I've gotten a great framework that if and when somebody wants to come later on, and when there's a different type of legislature to build on it, they have the framework to do it.
Have you ever been impacted by one of the laws that you've passed?
Have I ever been
Or like impacted? You said, I passed that law, or anything like to that nature?
That's a good question. I mean, not really. I mean, police body cameras get pulled over.
Right, and you get pulled over and you see the body camera and you're like, I passed.
I did that.
I did that. That's why I'm on film now, right?
I will say that, like when I read the newspaper or I look at the news and I see something that we've passed, that I've passed, and people are using it to see it in practice, is actually pretty cool.
That's kind of what I meant, or maybe not impactful to you, but it's you see other people using it, and you're like, that was because of me.
Yeah, I did
that. Our time's always runs so fast. We could sit here for hours. I leave you with your constituents and a message for those that are looking to see you up in Washington in the halls of Congress.
Here's what I will say, that these last 14 years have been an absolute pleasure to serve the people of District 34, and it's been a hands-on experience, one that I would not trade for the world. The people have trusted me for the past 14 years to go to Tallahassee to fight on their behalf and bring the results back to them, and we've successfully done that. I want to take that fight to Washington, D.C., not because I need a bigger name, but because I want to make your voices bigger. And I hope that when I get to Washington, D.C., that we will continue to be on this journey together. I think we have done great work together, and I think for the state of Florida, and I think District 24, we can do some good work for the entire country. And I'm looking forward to making that happen, and we will get there.
Well, on that note, we thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you.
And it's always a pleasure to bring you back, and hopefully we can bring you back next time as Congressman. Elector. Anyways, on that note, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Have a great day.